Hello, everyone. It's your friend Tristan Miller. I'm just here to inform you that I'm recording my first stand-up comedy album and special on May the 4th in New York City at Caveat at 4 p.m. You can go to the link in my bio on my social media platforms, or you can go to caveat.com, go to May the 4th, and buy tickets there. Highly recommend that you get them early as they are cheaper that way. Also, after the show, I'm going to go, Phantom Menace is playing in theaters. So I'm going to take a big group to go to the nearest AMC or whatever Cineplex and go see my favorite Star Wars movie. I'll say it with my full chest. My favorite Star Wars movie in theaters again. So hope to see you at both things. If you have to pick one, just pick my show, please. I would like to sell out the house if possible. Anyway, love you. Hope to see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Coming soon to theaters, podcasts, film reviews, and so much more. Available at tristanmiller.substack.com.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where we make a movie. My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is...
Kendra Dawsey. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kendra. I also want to remind people, I know it's already probably in the intro, but you can go to tristanmiller.substack.com to support this podcast. I put the video up there, and also I do a bonus podcast called Movies to Fall Asleep To, where I talk to people about their comfort films. And also I do movie reviews, so it's a nice little hub. And this is a segue as well, because Kendra, you have a Substack also, right? That you just started?
Yeah, I just started a Substack. It's called Horror is Real Life, and it's about it's still developing because I only have 3 posts. But I wanted to be an examination of horror movies and how they reflect the anxieties of our world today, which is a lot of horror movies, but also about how things are bad right now. I think it's okay to admit that. And there are some horror movies that are way less scary than even watching the vice presidential debate. So I feel like it's a mixture of all of these different feelings and ideas, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, because also I've often, when I'm watching a horror film, people are like, oh, that was freaky. I'm like, that's nothing. I've had dreams weirder than that. You know what I mean? Or
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the whole world has gotten scarier, and horror films have kind of become less effective because of that. So.
Yeah, I think definitely, especially the I guess when I was growing up, the first introduction of horror to me, because my parents don't like good movies. No offense, Mom and Dad, but my first introduction to horror was that Saw Hostel kind of thing, where it was oh, you're gonna see people get hurt. Mm-hmm. So I was this is bad, but I don't know. It felt very surface level. And then now that I'm older and I'm watching more things, I'm oh, this is actually about women's bodily autonomy, or this is about lack of connection in the internet age. And I'm this is cool. But yeah, it's also some of what's presented is scary, but I think what it's actually, the subtext could be even scarier with some movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because an example that I'll pull from my recent experience, I saw The Substance, and that whole film is about getting old and how scary that is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and it's also kind of a very oh, in society, we live in a society and women are not valued if they're older.
That's also true. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah. So, I really liked watching it. I mean, and I know you have, I think I did read your review. It was great. I really liked watching it. It is very it's the type of, it's all about the spectacle, which I think could be cool sometimes. And I think it's done in a way where, yeah, your eyes are glued. But But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's really well crafted. Do you remember the first movie you saw in the theater?
I do not. Yeah, I honestly don't remember the first movie I saw.
Maybe I should ask it this
I
way. What's your first memory of being in the cinema?
okay, I that is good. I think like one of my earliest memories, I'm pretty sure it's not the first, but
Hmm.
I saw Kill Bill when it came out with my dad.
Okay.
And I was probably like 11. Now people know my age. I was like a preteen.
Hmm.
Um, my parents were not great at supervising me. So when I was like a preteen, I went into this weird like film bro stage where I would watch like A Clockwork Orange and like Pulp Fiction and a lot of that. Uh, and I think later my mom was like, "Oh, I was kind of worried about you then, but now I'm somewhat normal." But my dad knew I was a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino for whatever reason at the age of 11. So we saw that. So we saw that in theaters, and I liked it. I mean, it was good.
That's really good. I, if I may relay a similar story, I, around age, I guess, 9, watched Pulp Fiction with my father on TV. And
Damn.
yeah, and my mom was like, "You can't let Tristan watch this." And he's like, "What? It's on TV. They censored it." And she was like, "It's still not age appropriate, Herb." And I got sent out of the room and I overheard, "Herb, you shouldn't even be watching this. It's terrible." And I was like, "Okay." It took another 12 years or whatever for me to see it again, but it's a pretty good movie, I think. But
I think it's pretty good too, but I could see why you would not want to show a 9-year-old that movie. There's a
well,
lot of
I mean,
violence. Like
admittedly,
it's,
also, my mom walked in during the GIMP scene, so it's like
yeah,
fully like
that's a scene where it's like, yeah, I probably wouldn't. I would actually. I'm kind of surprised they didn't censor it for TV, but I guess
yeah, it was really odd. I don't know, man. It was crazy. So what's your go-to cinema snack?
I mean, I do like popcorn. I usually wear a mask inside the theater, so like I
Smart.
try not to like snack too much. But if it's like mostly empty, I usually go for like popcorn, or something I could drink because
Mm.
I have this like there's this thing you could like install in some mask where you just like put a straw in and it keeps the seal. So depending on the theater, if it's like a movie that I think will be like very fun, I'll have like one alcoholic drink, and that's my like, oh, I'm partying, you know. And usually also if the movies like I'm not gonna have an alcoholic drink at like a 12 a.m. Or 12 p.m. showing of
Sure.
like The Seventh Seal. Like I won't do that. But yeah, those are my cinema snacks.
Excellent. Excellent. Sorry. Just my brain rebooted there for a second.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Are you ready for some movie trivia?
I will try my best. I feel like I don't know that many things, but we'll
Despite
see how
being
much I know.
a former film bro. Um,
I know. I've forgotten. Once I like turned like 15, I was like, all of this film bro knowledge is out of my head. I don't know.
It's funny. I mean, fair enough. Like, there's so many times I'm like, someone will ask me something about Star Wars, and I will just give them the answer off the top of my head. I'm like, it sucks. I wish I could like remember anything else besides that. Like something useful, like how to do taxes or where I put my
Yeah,
phone.
I know, right? Like how to like the proper ratio of like salt to sugar for baking, but I know I could tell you like half of this Czechoslovakian director's filmography, but it's not a blessing.
Yeah, for sure. Instead, I know the fact that Ornfree ties the senator from Ryloth where the Twi'leks are. Like that, I sucks. It sucks so hard. Anyway, first question, as always, is what is movie?
I guess like you could say it is a series of moving pictures that are like kind of put together, which can or cannot tell a narrative. Now they mostly have sound. There was a while where they didn't. And yeah.
Okay. What is cinema? Is there a difference?
Oh, like official. Well, I feel like
In
the
your
connotation
opinion.
when people. Okay, I don't think there needs to be a difference. I think now the difference is people have a connotation for cinema to mean like high art through the medium of movies, but it's like, I mean, they all use like cinematography or like some level of like, you know, putting things together. So yeah.
Okay. I accept. I think that's good.
Thank you.
I think it is. I do think it's like there's too much high art, lower art stuff in general. Because the other thing is like things that are considered lowbrow can transcend a lot of stuff, you know. Anyway, which horror characters would you like to see in a face-off, like Freddy versus Jason style?
Ooh, oh my god, that's such a good question. I'm doing the like Hooptober letterbox challenge, which some guy in Austin does, where he like, so it's basically you watch like 31 horror movies that fulfill various criteria, starting in September through the end. So I've seen a few movies through that. I think I would definitely want to see Isabel Johnny from Possession face off against someone. Okay. I like that would be what. In fact, it might be interesting to see her. Well, maybe face off against Sue from like The Substance. I don't think they'd really have a reason to fight one another though. But like to see those two characters in the same room would be something.
Sure. I'm not familiar with the first person you're talking about.
That it's like Possession is like a 1980s horror movie, but it's really about divorce, and it's like very, it is a spectacle.
Is that with Sam Neill?
And yes, Sam Neill is also in it. Yeah. I also watched Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island for like the first time recently, which is very different. And maybe the like weird like zombie werewolf ladies could face off against Leatherface. Might be interesting.
Like in a Roger Rabbit style.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Who framed the werewolf ladies or werecat ladies?
That's very good. Next question is, what book should never get turned into a film?
That's a good question. I occasionally read. I'm trying to get better at reading. I'm not like books are stupid. I do really like reading, but it's like hard for me to keep up the habit of reading. And then like if I read a book on my phone, I'm like less likely to finish it, even if I like the book. I have ADD. That's the problem. But one book I did recently finish was Parable of the Sower. And I was thinking like, would it be even possible for a film adaptation? I mean, of course, anything is like possible, but I'm wondering if like the way the movie industry is now, if like we'd get an adaptation of it that would actually talk about a lot of the themes that are in the book, because a lot of the themes that are in the book are like, one, I mean, the book is about how society is falling apart. Two, it also takes place over the course of like 3 years. It's in like this different version of Los Angeles where it's just I don't know. I don't know what it would look like, but it's like one
Mhm.
of those things where I'm like, I'm worried that it would be bad. It's like if they announce like we're doing like an adaptation of Parable of the Sower, I'm like, okay, if they don't get the right writer or director, this will probably be bad or frustrating, at least for fans of the book. So that's one. And I think I
Okay.
have the same feeling with a lot of like memoirs of Black Panthers. Like I don't
Okay.
think yeah, I don't think I don't think like the I guess like politics espoused, like the very root of the politics espoused, not all of it, would I don't think Hollywood would really want to say that in
Hmm.
a movie. Like, oh, we need to like the government doesn't care about people and we need to like change, you know. But maybe like another film industry, I don't know, maybe independent, if you wanna fundraise like $5 million for a fucking
Sure.
Freddie Hampton, like
Let me just hop on Scene
I know
Spark
that
real
was like
quick.
Judas and the Black. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know Judas and the Black Messiah like is probably the closest, and
Hmm.
I don't think it was like that was a good movie. I liked it, but like I think they did have to kind of skim over some of the politics, especially with the framing of the movie, because it's also about the guy that like ratted him out.
Mm,
Yeah, those are my thoughts.
that makes sense. I would agree with that. Okay, what was the next one I was going to ask you? Oh, what's a film you'd like people to remember, but they don't?
Great question. There was now I feel like I need to like look through my letterbox and like find like what's a movie where I'm like, well, okay, one thing I will there's one movie done by this Mauritanian director named Med Ondo, and he made like this high concept musical in 1979 called West Indies. And kind of like what I was saying, like it's a very political film. It's literally like sometimes it's like a little didactic and it's like this is what they like took from us and this is why we need to fight against France, but like it's very beautiful. I really liked it. And at the time it was the most expensive African film ever made.
Hmm.
But I think partially because of the politics espoused, it was kind of like quickly kind of pushed under the rug.
Sure.
Because I think there's one part where they're literally like, oh, you need to fight your oppressors. So I wish that, I think for a lot of people who have seen it, it's memorable. I think like it is, I mean, I don't even know if it has like a US DVD release, but I do wish more people talked about that director more. But the reason they don't talk, I think it's been like explicitly kind of pushed under the rug. And the same is with the Spook Who Sat by the Door, about like a Black guy who joins the CIA and then eventually like leaves saying, oh, I just want to give back to the community, and then uses all of the things he learned in the CIA to start with like this Black like counterinsurgency in Chicago. And that movie
Rips.
was explicitly like, yeah, it's so much fun, so cool, but like it was very explicitly after it was released like kind of buried because they were like, this might make people try to do this. So you should everyone should watch both of those. Just just get inspired.
Hmm.
Don't I will not encourage people to break crimes, but those are or like do crimes, but those are two cool movies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
About doing crimes, and you do get to decide what you do after you leave the experience.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
saying
you
do
do
anything.
don't do yeah, do whatever you want. I'm against crime, wink, but they're great films.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Um, what was your first character crush?
um Megara and Hercules,
Uh-huh.
the like the Disney version. And
That
it took me a while to figure out, but yeah,
hmm
it was definitely Meg.
that absolutely tracks. That makes so much sense. To be honest.
Yeah.
Um, and finally, as always, why is Austin Powers just so sexy?
That's a great question. I think he's nice. One thing I've seen all of those movies a few times. One thing is that he's like he does like he respects women more than like James Bond or like a lot of. I don't think. I mean, he's like very horny, but I don't think he's ever like, oh, I'm just gonna like touch your boobs without you wanting to, babe. I think it's like everyone has enthusiastic consent, which some people think is very sexy. So yeah, I think that's part of it.
It feels like he's like, why would I be into someone who's not into me? Like, I can find someone who's into me.
That's true.
Why waste my time?
Exactly.
You know? And I think that's a very healthy attitude. All right.
Yeah.
Are you ready for our word that we're going to build a movie off of?
Yes, I am ready for the word.
I am clicking aluminium or aluminum, depending on where you're from. Aluminium. ALUMINIUM. Aluminum.
Okay, a metal. Okay.
Yeah, it's a metal.
Aluminum.
I think I have a notion, but if you have something right away, I don't want to stampede over what you got.
No, I'm interested to hear your notion.
So I think I think it's either a small indie drama or it's a horror film about a guy who he does siding, like aluminum siding for like sheds and whatnot. And I feel like either he has some sort of, interpersonal conflict, or there's something about the siding that's changed and it's like made of people, or I don't know, something. That old chestnut.
Yeah.
Or there's like some sort of, what about this? The aluminium that he's using is from a mine that's haunted. And there are ghosts in the siding.
Yes, actually, I do like that.
Yeah,
siding ghosts, house ghosts. Like the house is literally made of the ghosts. That's amazing. There's a few. Yeah, I like that idea. I guess like some like jokes I thought of when I heard aluminum is like I'm thinking, what if there was like a version of Tetsuo the Iron Man, which is like this Japanese film about this guy who like turns into metal, but the metal was aluminum, and he like is very flimsy and blows away. Really do much. He just blows away. Or it would be like a little scene documentary about life in the mines. Those are like the two things I first thought of. But I like your like a horror mines idea.
I think we can combine all these ideas, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I feel like the first chunk, it can be like the first chunk can be like a documentary about the mines that it turns out it's haunted, right? And it kind of turns into a found footage element for like the first 20 minutes. I
love that. Yes. Yeah.
And then I feel like it goes from the shipment to the guy who's making the siding, like in the States, or whatever. Actually, I feel like, I was going to have the mine. I feel like the mine could be, out of country, but I also feel like setting it in like West Virginia, where there's a bunch of cryptids anyway, could be fun. Like the Mothman.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I also don't even know where aluminum is mined. That's one thing I was thinking of. Where does that happen?
Do we get aluminum? It's an ore. Where is it mined? Okay. Where does the U.S. get aluminum from? Canada, Russia, and numerous other countries. South Carolina, New York, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Indiana also has aluminium mines.
Okay. So if we did it and like, if this is set in New York and we talk about like a really, like it starts in a really rural area of New York, and then it goes to like a Long Island suburb, that could be so if it's like found footage talking about this rural like mine that's haunted, and then it goes to the Long Island suburb, I think that'd be pretty interesting. I think you could potentially do a lot with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be very good. And like there's the class disparity there, and you can kind of like, I feel like the the ore has to be like haunted by all the people who have died in the mine over the years, right?
Yeah,
It can't
yeah.
just be
And then we
like,
could
mhm.
Oh, I was saying we could do like an alien thing where it's like the company didn't care about the people in the mine and now
Yeah.
they're angry and
Mhm.
they're trying to like, I don't know, enact justice somehow
I feel like,
through haunting the aluminum.
yeah, okay. I think that with that in mind, that it's got to be like one of the current miners whose like grandfather died in one of the mining accidents opened up because he got like a discount on or like for free using illegal means the aluminium to make the siding. So it's like an extension of the family business, and his grandfather died in the mine, and so he, knowing that it's haunted, is putting up siding in shareholders' sheds and stuff, and so
Ooh.
they're actively like it's a revenge plot. And I
Yeah.
do think that the song 16 Tons should be like the theme because it has that line, I owe my soul to the company store, which I think is quite good thematically for this.
Wait, who makes that song? I don't think I've heard that song.
Merle Travis, but it's famously covered
Okay.
by Tennessee Ernie Ford. I would definitely look it up. It's really fun. But it is about how you're exploited by the company store and you just get more and more in debt, and it's a terrible situation. But I do feel as though we could have the element of like one of the ways, you're talking about this guy who's like got armor out of aluminium, and I do feel like that could be like the final boss is the ghosts like kind of create like a golem of siding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that could be quite fun, like at the end with the denouement.
Yeah.
But I feel like I think there's got to be someone who's like caught up in this that's like an innocent character. So it's like high stakes, and it's not just like a bunch of kills, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have the revenge. So like we have the person putting up the siding on the shareholders like houses.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of like the like earthly vessel for his family's grief. And then we need someone who's like not part of the company, who is like maybe I'm thinking like if he's doing work on like a Long Island suburb, maybe the like daughter, someone that's like related to one of the shareholders of the company but like does not agree with like the kind of like trying to get all of these like exploitation, trying to get like more and more money kind of thing, and like is kind of sympathetic to the idea of like, oh, like yeah, people shouldn't die in mines, but is not like implicated in the previous crime. So like it probably shouldn't be a daughter. I could see a woman. But also, I guess it could also be a man, but like someone who's like there somehow.
Mm-hmm. What about this journalist doing an expose about the working conditions of the mine, and the first part, the documentary part, is her footage, and then they cut to her like doing the interviews with all of it, and she gets caught up in it.
Yeah, I could see that. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like it being a journalist too, and it could kind of be a procedural but not crime, just through journalism, because I feel like there's a lot of I like the like system or the buildup of like uncovering different things. I think that would be really cool, especially from a journalist perspective. Let's do that. So she could be like a young up and coming journalist with like a heart of like bleeding heart. And she just wants to like figure out what happened in this mine. Maybe there's like a part, like she'll like do an interview in like a fancy Long Island suburb guy's house, a fancy like Manhattan office, and then like at some point towards the end, maybe the climax could happen in that mine. She's like, I don't know, spelling this, I don't know. So she like takes a little like road trip to like rural New York, and then there's the she does something to the mind. I don't know what she would do, but like
She does something to
she
the
somehow
mind.
she somehow gets rid of the ghost so that the ghost won't keep haunting, but it also has to be in a way where like the ghost feel like they're like the ghosts themselves are satisfied, or like there's some sort of vengeance. So I don't know what that would be.
What about this? She kidnaps the CEO and kills him in the mine. And she's like, I gotta do this.
Okay,
I can't, like, because they're wreaking havoc, these ghosts, because it's not just this, because they're in all of the siding. And it's this new project that's going up on Long Island. Yeah. And so there's a bunch of innocent people as well. So she's like, I gotta kill this one guy for the greater good.
I would like that. I could see that not going well with audiences. So if this cut doesn't test well, we could have a version where like she brings the CEO to the mine and she doesn't kill him, but like something falls down and he dies. Sure. And then she doesn't feel that like bad, but she doesn't kill him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I do feel like that happens a lot. Like I feel like especially in some like Disney movie face-offs, it's like I feel like in Lion King, doesn't Simba try to save Mufasa and then he's like no, and then he just falls down. So you don't feel like Simba killed someone, but Mufasa still dies. I think having that feeling might make the main character a little bit more sympathetic. To people who don't like killing CEOs.
When Scar just like doesn't help, and then also it's mirrored when Simba like tries to help Scar and then he falls down and gets eaten by hyenas, which is crazy to think about.
I know, that was pretty metal for a Disney film, honestly.
100%. I like that. I almost like if you don't want the journalist to kill the CEO, I think what would be good would be the CEO's son tracks them into the mine, because she's trying to like amp herself up to do it, because she knows this is what she needs to do, and she can't do it because she's like a moral person. And then the like son of the CEO comes in and just shoots the CEO and turns to her and goes, I'm already going to hell, and then just pops himself in the head as well. Oh my God. And then she's just like, I don't know what to do with all of this.
Yeah. I get to see her being like, I didn't kill these people, but they're both dead.
Exactly. And she's like, I don't know what to do.
That would be something. Yeah. So like we have a self-hating son of the CEO of the company, and then there's like a father son play, the son like hates his father and hates being part of this family, and the father resents the son. Okay, I could see that. I think I could
go ahead.
I guess well, I'm thinking the suicide might be a lot, but I think we could pull it off if we like introduce the son as being like very brooding or something, or I don't know. To make the payoff.
I mean, I think what would work would be, as the journalist is doing an interview with the son, that he's like expressing a lot of shame and remorse about like the unethical treatment that this entire company has had, and he's like, I know it's bad and I just don't know what to do about it. And I specifically have signed off on things that are immoral, and so he already has that like motor running where he's like, I think I'm already going to hell. I've already done this stuff, so I might as well do one good thing with my life, which is eliminate this. Yeah, and you could have like element of like corporate espionage if you wanted to, where he's like signing the company over to like be dissolved or whatever, and they're trying to shut down the mine or whatever. I do like. I also have this image in my head of him like missing a hand for some reason. I don't know why.
So the son missing the hand.
Yeah. Like no hand on one side, gun in the other.
I wonder if that could work thematically. Like if it's like he carries the lack of hand is due to like something his father made him do when he was younger, and
Yeah.
but he like didn't want to do, and then like he pulled his hand away, and now he has this like reminder of like being implicated in his family's like
Mm-hmm.
family's negative business.
How about this? They were visiting the mine. He saw someone about to get hurt and he tried to help and
I
pop.
see that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yeah, and then there's like just no hand.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that. And then we could also spin that with like the father like looks down on him and sees his like lack of hand as a weakness
Mhm.
because it happened because he wanted to like help someone who's being directly impacted by his family's business. Yeah. So the dad could be just like really, like against disability and say like, oh, like you could have had two hands and now you're like this, and just be very awful.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. I like that. I feel like there's a couple elements that I feel like we need to flesh out, and that's like, who are the rest of the shareholders? How do they get killed? And all that fun excitement that we go to a horror film for.
Should we do some really like zany kills, like they get killed by aluminum siding, or like maybe like an aluminum siding, it just like crumples them into a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I like that.
I don't know how I guess my main interaction with aluminum is through tinfoil.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know how. I'm just imagining a lot of like tinfoil ball tests. I'm sure there's worse ways to die from aluminum. Maybe some aluminum like melts and someone like gets it down their throat or something.
I like that.
One way.
So I feel like with the balling up, I do like, and I feel like one of the shareholders is like working on a science project with his son, kind of, where he's they're balling up aluminum for like a mobile of the planets, and then the image I have is just like panning from, tilting down up from the guy getting squished just to the ball of aluminium foil on the table.
And then like an ominous like low string note like
mm-hmm. Yes. And then you start to see the sun walk down the stairs and you're like, oh no. I think it melting is really good. I think getting poured down someone's throat that's always just awful to think about. Yeah, that would be really scary. I don't know what like molten like where someone would be where they're like melting metal, if that could happen, but we could make it work. Oh sure. Someone's really into like, I don't know, welding. I don't know. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Someone's like using the aluminium to like fix their car or whatever, even though you shouldn't make cars out of aluminum. It's too flimsy. Another one I had is because, they make planes out of aluminium. That's why they're light enough to fly. And I like the idea of one of the sheets like attaching like wings to someone and then get them just getting blown away in the wind. And then it's like there's a pan out and you see it's a Boeing plane. But that's a great way. I like that. For sure. Just like, yeah. Really, really goofy. Or it could be like a private plane full of like a lot of these shareholders, and then it just like all of them like just crash into the ocean or something. I like that a lot. Wings fuck up. Oh, I like that a lot. It starts like pulling itself apart and they start flying out. Kind of like like in Looney Tunes, when they're flying the plane and it explodes, like Wile E. Coyote. Yeah. It's just the frame left and they're falling. Yes. Yeah. Ugh, that's very good. Ugh, I like that a lot. And then obviously we have like the aluminium like warrior at the end that's chasing down this journalist and the CEO. And I think that's good. I think
I wonder how they should look like. So I'd love to see like the design of the aluminum warrior, like what, you know.
in my, because you mentioned
But
like a samurai armor is what I kind of imagine, but I also feel like
I could see that.
you could even have them kill more than one person and the armor changes from victim to victim.
Yeah.
Like one kind of looks like one of the Terminators, or like I think it would be funny to have one look like Iron Man for a second.
That's true. Yeah. If we could get the rights.
Yeah.
Or I guess if it's parody, we could just like not call it Iron Man and then it would be okay. We could
Or
just
the
be like,
Tin
this
Man.
looks suspiciously like, yeah, exactly. It looks suspiciously like all these other characters, but it's fine.
It's like, yeah, for sure. I think that would be good because I feel like if the ghost is like ancient, right? It's a very old ghost.
Yeah.
That one of the bits could be that it keeps like watching, as it's killing people, people are watching films, and so it's morphing into whatever to try and like understand humanity in a way.
Oh, like so like some meta like talking about history of film. Also isn't when we had like literal like film, not just digital, wasn't it stored in tin cans? Was that tin or was it another metal?
I will Google it.
We could maybe do something with that. Maybe like there's like a documentary like saying like, oh, this company is actually good, but like it's stored in haunted tin and it like gets destroyed. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they just say thin of sheet metal, so it can be anything. So it could absolutely be aluminum. Am I right? The other thing is, to store film, they keep it underground. You know this, yeah?
Yeah.
So I feel like there could be an element where in this mine, there's also like a bunch of film stock.
Of like old documentaries that showed how much it sucked.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the mines. And they're like, we have to keep it hidden so that people still work at this mine and they don't know the truth.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's all very good. I think an element I would also like is who should we have play the reporter and the son and the CEO? I feel like those are the...
Ooh, oh my God. That's great. Okay.
I feel like Michael Shannon should play the guy who's like putting up the sheet metal. Because he's so like working class and unnerving as an actor.
I probably like have seen this guy. I'm just going to look him up quickly. Oh, actually, yeah, I've seen this guy. He's about 50. Yeah, it works. It works great. He's a working class 50 something, like been working all his life, about to retire, has like a nice like like some nice kids. Yeah, I think he'd be a good like putting up the sheet metal. Who should be the CEO of this terrible company?
I mean, the temptation is to put Brian Cox in there.
I know, because I also love Succession.
Yeah,
but
I feel like
I'm thinking someone like, I get what you mean, but I'm thinking maybe someone who is, I mean, Brian Cox as Logan was very like brash, and I wonder if there's someone that has a little bit more like more something like more like a more subtle evil, like something very sleek. You know what I mean? But I don't know who that. I don't know.
I think that the two that come to mind are Chris Cooper, or three that come to mind are Chris Cooper, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and Kyle MacLachlan. Those are the three where all three of them can be really warm, but there's also this undercurrent of like, what's going on with this guy?
My first inclination would be Kyle MacLachlan. I don't know if I've seen, actually, I'm going to look up what Chris Cooper has been in.
He was in Little Women. I
haven't seen that.
Have you seen...
This is me being a toxic film bro, but I haven't seen any of the Little Women's because I just don't like that. I don't think I like a lot of movies from that era. It's not like that there's woman. I think that like that time period is just kind of boring to me. I'm sorry.
Sure,
Don't cancel
you're
me.
fine.
What was the other thing that you
Oh,
were
if
going
you've
to say?
seen the Muppet movie with Jason Segel, he plays Tex Richman, the
I
villain.
have not seen the Muppet. I
Okay,
haven't seen that
have
actually.
you seen August Osage County? He's in that, and he's really good in that.
I
Okay,
haven't
just
seen that.
three for three.
I'm
Not a
just,
Cooper, not a Cooper fan. I get you. It's fine. I think
I
McLaughlin
unfortunately
would be really good because he's got like that boyish good energy, and then using that like
for
he's
evil. Yeah,
for evil. Not to give anything away, but have you seen Fallout, the series? Do you care about it?
I ha- I haven't. No, is that based on the video game?
It is indeed, and they use Kyle in a very similar way, where you think he's like a
Ooh,
really
okay,
good guy, and then it turns out he's a little bit more complicated.
okay.
Um, yeah, I think he'd be really good. And then his son, his son.
Yeah, so
I also,
someone like
I also feel like
brooding.
um, I think at one point the aluminium should get melted down, and the son should get a hand out of it, like Johnny Tremaine.
Ooh, okay, I like that. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
I think
love
that
that.
so. The sun,
What if
the
the
sun.
hand what if the hand is the thing that kills like the hand like the son already has self-loathing that could still be there, but the hand like chokes him and he's like, ah.
Kind of like an Ash Evil Dead sort of thing, for sure. I like
Yeah.
that. I also feel like maybe at the end the son can't actually kill his dad, and then the hand grabs the gun and does it.
I like that too. I love it.
Mhm.
Son, I when I think of brooding men, I do think of Robert Pattinson. I'm
Okay.
sorry. But it's also I think honestly, I have not seen many as I've become like gotten more into movies. I think most of the movies I've watched have been like 30 plus years old. So
Hmm.
I am not sure what's happening now. I don't know who the like other brooding men are of the modern day.
I think Robert Pattinson would be quite good. He would make him like a little freak, which I think would be very fun.
I do love little freaks. Yeah.
The alternative I was thinking would be Adam Driver.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Whenever
he,
I look at, I think of Fat Cat whenever I see him, but that's on me. I
what you
think
think of,
he is a good actor. There's
you think of
back in
what?
the day, there was a meme. Where it was like Adam Driver and like a Siamese cat with very
Hmm.
similar facial features, and it was like,
Yes.
why does this cat look like Kylo Ren? And
Yes, I
now when
am
I
looking at it.
see, but that doesn't mean he's not a good actor. I just think of the cat. Great cat.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I think I'd like Robert Pattinson better because he is a little freak and he would be like an insane person, which I think you would kind of need.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. And he would do a funny little voice. He loves
mhm.
funny little
He
voices. Like he loves
does.
to do a funny little voice.
I
Yeah.
think he would. I think he'd go hard with like a New York accent or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. This like son of a CEO who has had a very cosmopolitan lifestyle inexplicably has like a 1960s Brooklyn accent.
Yeah.
And there's no accent. No one mentions it. No one talks about it. He just sounds like he's at Coney Island.
Yeah. Yeah. The journalist. I feel like
Brunette. I'm thinking brunette, but not necessarily. But also every actress could like dye her hair.
that's true. Every actress could dye their hair. I feel like Kiki Palmer would be really fun.
Ooh. Oh,
Or
she would be so she'd bring like a little pep to the to
mhm,
like it wouldn't be a character that just kind of like fades into the background and feels like more passive.
mhm.
I feel like she'd do a lot with that.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Or would be a really interesting choice would be Kelly Marie Tran, who's got like this really
Ooh.
sweetness about her, in addition to being
Yeah,
like
Yeah, everyone was mad that she was in a Star Wars movie, right? Like
Yes.
for no reason.
Yeah, well, because
she was just
Asian.
like an Asian woman in a Star Wars. Yeah, there was an Asian woman in a Star Wars movie, and people hated it, which is wild to me. Don't understand. Yeah, she. Yeah, I. There's some actresses where like I see the hate they get, and I haven't even seen the movies they've been in, but I'm like, this is such a like even Halle Bailey in like The Little Mermaid. It's like there's real fucking problems. You're mad that a fish woman is black? Like what?
Yeah. It's already like she's already a fish woman. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there were people online that were like, oh, this is why scientifically it wouldn't make sense for a mermaid to be black and have no. And it's like, mermaids aren't real. Like, why are you doing this?
It's all made up.
So, it's all made up. It's all made up. The movie wasn't even that great. Like, people were like so mad about this Disney live action. Like, be mad that like Disney is don't be mad at the actress who is like, this is a whole other topic, but like it's Kelly Marie Tran deserves so much more, and I think we could put her in the movie. I support that. I support it.
Fantastic. Do you have a director in mind?
Oh my God. Okay. So the way we've been talking about it, it does feel like more campy than like, I'm not saying that these two things aren't like campy in the same movie, but it's like more campy than like serious, like obvious societal like themes or like, so we need a director that like loves camp, loves some flair. I don't even know if we're like directors who are good at that.
I mean, Baz Luhrmann comes to mind, but I don't think he'd ever do a horror film.
Oh no, if he did it, it would turn into a musical. It'd be like, so there'd be like hyper cuts. Like it'd be, it's like you'd see the like dude the ghost as a tin man, and then suddenly they'd whirl around and it'd be like a samurai. It'd be so zany.
Yeah, it would be way too zany. I feel like it'd be like, I feel like, my suggestion would have been Rose Glass, who did Love Lies Bleeding, because that's like a crime thriller, but also very funny.
Yeah.
And the right amount of like kind of melodramatic and camp in a way that I think she could really handle this.
Actually, I think that's a great pick. I think that's good. And I also saw Saint Maud, and I really liked Saint Maud. I was, so I don't know if I've seen a Rob Zombie movie, and I don't know if he'd be better than Rose Glass, but it'd be interesting. I think I probably saw a Rob Zombie movie when I was like much younger.
Sure.
And it's like, but like it'd be fast. I don't know if it'd be good, but it'd be fascinating. It'd be a fun time. And then that was the one person. One name that came to mind is Julia Ducournau, who did Titan and Raw. But like she already has done something with metal, so I feel like. And then it'd be like very French, like
it'd be too much.
Like I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I do like Rose Glass. I think she'd do well with it.
What about Rob Reiner? Can we get him back?
Wait, did he do like The Princess Bride? Am I making that up?
He did Princess Bride. He did Harry Met Sally, and he did Misery, which is crazy to me.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it'd be really.
He has the wildest.
Yeah, he's just like a good.
Yeah, he's done so many different things.
Yeah, it's crazy. So if Rose passes, we'll try and get Rob.
Let's see what he does.
Yeah. I like it. That's great. I think we've solved it. Do you want to do a quick lightning round?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So we both get the same word. We do a mini pitch for it. Okay. So first one is opera. Yes.
Okay.
Opera.
You could go first.
Okay, sure. For opera, for me, is about a a young woman that makes a deal with the devil to become the world's best premier opera singer, but in order to do so, she has to murder a person on the same date every year. How's that?
Ooh, Faustian. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I am often by Lincoln Center, so when you said opera, I thought Metropolitan Opera.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if there's like a horror movie where it's like there's like a cursed opera that like I don't know, like kills part of the audience whenever it's like played and people need to figure out why it's cursed. Something like that. I don't know.
I like that. I like that a lot. Kind of like a Macbeth sort of situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a bear, Bare, bear. Bear. I think Bear for me is about a couple that's going through marital issues, and they go to a nude beach that's a resort, and like a couple's retreat to try and reinvigorate their life after being empty nesters for a couple of years, and it's not going well. And during the course of it, they both find out that the reason it's not working is they're both gay.
Incredible. That's great. Even though you spelled out bear when you first said it, I was like, oh, like the animal. So okay, so bear. I don't know why. You literally spelled it Bare. Okay, so I mean, when we think bear, obviously the flesh. I'm thinking something with body horror, but like cannibalism is like we've done it, makes sense. We like whatever, it's been done before. Maybe something where it's like, oh, actually maybe a company grows human flesh, like kind of like Impossible Burgers human flesh, so that people could try it and eat it, and something goes wrong. So there's a movie. I don't know.
Something goes wrong. I like that a lot. It's
I mean,
conflict.
So many movies are like, here's the conflict occurs. So then there's 90 minutes of a movie.
Possible human burgers so people can try it. And then, I mean, I feel like it's got to be a rich person thing. And obviously, if you eat too much human flesh, you go insane.
Something like that.
Like
or
mad cow disease.
Yeah, like you become like a cannibal yourself. If you try the human flesh, yeah.
What about this? Okay, there's excess. They've made too many. They thought it was going to be a big hit. People are like, this tastes bad, and I don't like it. I think it's immoral. So they have to get rid of all this product that they have, and so they start feeding it to cows that then want to eat people.
Yeah, killer cows. Yeah.
Killer cows. Okay. Not to jump all over your premise, but the idea.
No, that's great.
Just like a haunted moo. Like everyone's like, oh no. Set in Iowa.
Yeah. And then the cows just like kill so many people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Troop is what we have next. Troop.
Troop.
Yeah, troop.
Like a theater troupe.
TROOP. Troop. Theater troupe is good. Troop is in like warriors. For me, I think it's about Boy Scouts. And it's about Boy Scouts and this one kid, he's trying to get his last merit badge, but the troop leader doesn't like him. And so he's trying to like not let this kid essentially, I guess, graduate. I wasn't in the Scouts. He's trying to become Eagle Scout and he won't let him become Eagle Scout because he's racist and he doesn't like Filipino people. And so very
and this
specific.
Kid is Filipino.
Yes. And so he's trying to not let him do it because he thinks that if you're an immigrant, you're less American, and so he has to unlearn that somehow.
Okay. And then they like come together in like a nice kind of way at the end, something.
Yeah, it's like a feel-good movie.
Okay.
It's like a PG rated feel-good comedy that's going to come out like either right around Thanksgiving or in January because no one wants to see it.
Yes, I could see that. Yeah. When you said troops, I thought of military troops, and this has probably been premise has probably done before, but like, what if there was like a like drama about a someone in Vietnam who's like has a Vietnamese mother, but like a father that was like a military troop, like in a military troop, and then the person tries to get back to the US to like meet their dad, and then it's like about colonialism and stuff. But I don't that's a concept. I don't know what happens at the end. I don't know.
That's fair. You don't need to.
Something.
Yeah,
okay,
something
cool.
happens. Yeah, you're fine.
Conflict.
Well, this has been heaps of fun. What do you want people who listen to this podcast to know about you besides your excellent Substack?
Oh, thank you. Which I'm also a stand-up comedian. I do comedy. I'm trying to do it more. I do it occasionally. And I'm cool. I have a letterbox. You should follow me. People like I have reviews that have like 20 something likes. So you should follow me on Letterbox.
Excellent.
My username is Dawsey_Dawsey, my last name. And it's also that for like Instagram and like, like all of that stuff. So if you search me on those social media sites using that name, you'll find more of my stuff. Let's be friends. Yeah. I like people. I like friends.
Let's be friends. Thank you so much again for doing this. Again, if you're listening to this, go to substack.com, find me there. Please. I'm trying to get some supplementary income, for the love of God.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, this has been heaps of fun. Support artists, even when their art is making up movies and also reviewing things, both of which, for me at least, very low level of thought. I'm just like,
but it is important. I mean, but like we do need more movie reviewers, because I think like film critics has kind of been that's something that's kind of been like destabilizable. So support Tristan.
Hey, thanks. I
sign up for
that.
Their Substack.
Support me. Support the troops.
Support Tristan, the troop.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Thanks.